Tonight, and they have earned the Institute's recognition and all of our gratitude for introducing the practice of pre-permitting to Massachusetts, and I'll say more of that in just a minute. And I want to thank all of you, the many of you in this room here tonight, for the support and good counsel you have given me through the campaign, through the transition, and since, and that you continue to provide, and I'm very grateful for that. Some of you, in providing that counsel, stepped across political lines to do so. And it still tickles me how many of you were surprised to find a capitalist on the other side. I am not a market fundamentalist. I do not believe that left to its own devices, the market all by itself will solve every problem. But having spent most of my professional life working in or for private companies, I do believe that a strong private economy, good jobs at good wages in every region of the Commonwealth is the very best way to strengthen our communities and our common future. And while we have to acknowledge, it's not breaking news. I just have to, I think we have to acknowledge that businesses, not governments, create jobs. But I also know from my experience that government has a role to play in creating the conditions for successful economic growth. That involves certain choices. And it's those choices that I want to talk about a little bit this evening. And then if time allows, if it's not too late, we can maybe open it up and take some questions. Although I also believe that events of this kind, as beautiful as they are, should end the day they begin. So I won't keep you too late. We are a very, very great state, and we have much of what we need to sustain that greatness going forward. Historically, Massachusetts has successfully relied on her intellectual and entrepreneurial capital to remain economically strong. But yesterday's greatness will not assure tomorrow's, because the world around us is changing. As you know, we are the only state in the nation to have lost population in each of the last 2 years, most of them young and well-educated. Well-prepared talent is becoming as globalized as capital. A very important part of our future is walking right out the door. We now compete in an economy that does not recognize borders. The skills and talents offered by our students and workers will be measured against those of people not just in Raleigh and San Jose, but in Shanghai and Bangalore. While the United States will graduate 70,000 engineers this year, India is graduating 350,000. China, 600,000 this year. Right here in Massachusetts, there are 125,000 people looking for work and 80,000 vacancies. Just take a minute and process that. 80,000 jobs going wanting because the skill set is not available for the jobs that we have right now. We compete for investment today with places where public investment in the infrastructure is considered wise, but we have been starving our own. The Transportation Finance Commission tells us that we have up to $19 billion in deferred transportation maintenance. That's before essential new projects like the rail line to Fall River and New Bedford, or the extension up from Hartford to Springfield. Imagine this. China is building one university the size and quality of UCLA every year for the next 10 years. Now, if you've done business in China, as I have, you understand when they say they're going to do something, they do it. That is their commitment. Meanwhile, we face a $2 billion tab in deferred maintenance at the UMass Amherst campus alone. You may have read in the news this weekend that Stoneham, facing an average household increase of $1,000 in their property taxes in the last 7 years, a new $160 per household trash fee, and teachers paid $10,000 below the state average, has cut all high school sports and all elementary and middle school arts programs. And the stories go on and on. This is where we are, facing what I believe are some critical choices before us, ones that will determine our economic and social strength for a generation. And I, for one, am unwilling to leave all of that entirely to chance. Take our leadership in life sciences, for example. Our exceptional strength in medicine, scholarship, research institutions, and venture capital has made us a true international biotech supercluster. Right now, competitor states and foreign nations are investing billions of dollars to get what we've got. They propose various means to make up for flatlined NIH funding. They are moving to create a safe haven from the politics, especially around stem cell research, that impairs innovation and the calculated risk-taking that make these kinds of breakthroughs possible. We can't simply stand by sort of arrogantly and presume that our current strengths will be enough to sustain and extend our global leadership in the life sciences. That's why, in concert with industry and academia, we proposed the Massachusetts Life Sciences Initiative. Our proposal does not replace the primary place of the private sector in the life sciences, but it does propose to fill those very funding gaps identified by the private sector as being not only appropriate for government to fill, but essential for this government to offer if we're to compete with other states and other countries. If we are to secure our economic edge, we have to face that reality, and we have proposed some ways to do just that. Frankly, our competitor states are pursuing a whole variety of strategies that make doing business elsewhere easier than doing business here, and we have to compete. And that includes, among other things, changing the way we operate as a government. In my experience, speed to market is a determining factor for business development. I used to work, as some of you know, at the Coca-Cola Company, and I promise you nobody competes like Coke and Pepsi. Nobody. It's a cult kind of thing. If Pepsi decides that it's going to do a line extension, you know, it's chocolate, lime-flavored something or other, you better believe that Coke wants to be in the market as fast as possible with its own competitive variety. Now, if that means a new manufacturing facility, and Coke goes to North Carolina, and North Carolina says, you know what, here is our process. You start here, you go there, we take you by the hand, it'll take you these many months. But if Coke then comes to Massachusetts, and Massachusetts says, well, we think you start over there, we're not sure, we'll see you in 2 or 3 years, guess where Coke decides to invest? Massachusetts has been a more complicated and more frustrating place to get into and stay in business, and we have got to deal with that reality. So we began by reducing state business permitting time from an average of 2 to 3 years to 6 months, 2 months if you're in the insurance business. Like the Devens project, we've created a one-stop shop for businesses seeking state permits, an ombudsman who will walk businesses through the process so that there is just one place to go to get your answers and to understand how to move your own process forward. In fact, we're identifying a host of other sites around the Commonwealth which we can pre-permit, just like Devens, and better position for business investment. We've also budgeted $4 million for local communities to streamline their own processes and create faster, more effective regulation. In environmental permitting, for example, we're committed to stronger green building and emission standards and to moving 90% of approvals through in 6 months or less. Right now, we have a Massachusetts state sales team that is working with some 400 specific businesses to identify and address the factors affecting their investment decisions. That team has already been instrumental in new investment and jobs to the Commonwealth, like Evergreen Solar and Organogenesis, securing hundreds of millions of dollars of new investments and nearly 1,000 new jobs already. And we are just getting started. 6 months, I want to remind you, not even. We've been in office. Just yesterday, with the help of that very sales team, we were proud to announce that Massachusetts will be the home to the first of 2 national wind technology test facilities, accelerating our progress towards becoming a global hub